Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The June 2017 session of the Special Magistrate in and for the City of Oviedo is now in session. For those of you who may not be familiar with the process, let me sort of explain what we're doing here today. The City of Oviedo has really two bodies of law. One is the Code of Ordinances that governs conduct in general. The other is the Land Development Code, which governs conduct of people wanting to develop or utilize land. So the city has a code enforcement department that enforces both of those bodies of rules or law. Often the code enforcement office will see what they think is a violation of either the Code of Ordinances or the Land Development Code. And when they do, they'll send or post a notice of violation to the landowner. Sometimes the landowner disagrees with the Code Enforcement Board, and when that happens, we have a hearing such as we're having today. My job is to determine whether indeed there is a violation and how we're going to handle that violation. I should tell you that my first goal always is to try to get everyone to come into compliance with the ordinances and codes of the city, because really that's what, as citizens and as the Code Enforcement Board, everyone is all about. I do have authority, however, to impose solutions, including fines, when I find a violation. So that's what we're doing today. We have several items on the agenda, and we'll take them as they come. The first thing we have, of course, we have two agendas today. The first is, of course, the Code Enforcement Special Magistrate agenda. Following that, we'll take a brief break, and then we'll go into the Administrative Code, which deals with such things as parking violations and the like. First item on the Code Enforcement agenda today, Case A, is case number CE 17-000165. The respondents, the property owners, are Edgar Vasquez and Blanca Parra, or Parra Blanca. I may have that reversed. It's hard to tell here. The property in question is 490 Augustine Court, Oviedo, Florida 32765. And the parcel ID number is 14-21-521-551-0000-1770. Who is here to speak to this item on the agenda today?
I am, Your Honor. Jim Orioles, representing the city.
All right, who else? Is there anyone on behalf of the landowners here today? All right, Mr. Orioles, would you step to the microphone, raise your right hand, sir? Do you solemnly affirm the testimony you shall give today shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, tell us what the city has to present on this case.
Your Honor, on case number CE 17-000165 on 490 Augustine Court, we allege violation of Section 2245 of the Code of Ordinances, which in plain language is having an unlicensed vehicle on the property. I have 14 pages of evidence, if I may approach, Your Honor.
Yes, go ahead. Have you gotten any response at all from the property owners in this case?
The property owner lives in Elmhurst, New York, and I have not. However, I have spoken to the tenant on several occasions. I got very conflicting stories. However, the ultimate outcome, as Your Honor will see after I get done presenting the case, is that the car is no longer there.
All right. Well, first, hearing no objection, I'm going to admit into evidence that you said 14 pages?
Yes, sir.
14 pages of documents you presented. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Orioles.
All right. The first document, Your Honor, is a property appraiser sheet showing that the ownership of the property is, in fact, Edgar Vasquez and Blanca Parra, or the opposite, in Elmhurst, New York. The second document, Your Honor, is the copy of 2245, city's ordinance about keeping any motor vehicle that is not licensed or operational, which is physically incapable of being such. The third picture, Your Honor, was our initial inspection on March the 6th. The vehicle was backed in, ultimately, as the vehicle that became the problem. The vehicle that was parked front was also, at the time, had an expired plate, but in running the plate, I found that the resident had just not put the sticker on. In fact, it was a good plate on the white car.
So the darker colored car has an expired tag?
Correct, sir. We sent a notice of violation on March the 7th, requiring correction on March the 17th. The next document, Your Honor, you can see the certified mail receipt, and the following document is the green card that was signed for. We were asked by the tenant for some more time, so we gave the tenant more time, but on 4/19, the next picture, Your Honor, shows clearly there is no tag on the car. It is still parked in the driveway. There's 3 pictures there. And the next document is the vehicle details of the motor vehicle sheet. If you see on the registration, it shows the expiration date of the vehicle, expiration date of the registration on the vehicle was 2012. The vehicle had not been legally licensed since 2012. We sent an affidavit of violation and notice of hearing. The certified mail receipt where we sent them, however, a green card was never signed for. We posted the property, we sent first class, and we posted at City Hall as per 16212. And then the last document, Your Honor, will see there is an affidavit of service stating that we did legal service as requested by Statute 162, as required by Statute 162, I'm sorry.
Right. Well, as a threshold matter, I'm going to find that all notices required by ordinance and statute have been complied with. Have you had any contact from the tenant? I'm assuming this is a rented piece of...
Yes, sir. The tenant called me yesterday again. I spoke to the tenant 2 or 3 times. He called me again yesterday and assured me the vehicle would be gone as of yesterday afternoon. It was still there Monday. I went there this morning at approximately 7:15 and the vehicle was gone. And I could not find the vehicle on the street any place where he had not just parked it someplace else on the street. The vehicle was completely gone from the property.
What is it that the city wants me to do?
I would like to, for Your Honor, the city would like for Your Honor to find that the property was in violation after the date of the notice of violation, and any further violations of such ordinance will be repeat violations subject to double fines.
All right. Anyone here who wants to speak to this? All right. I am going to find that there was a violation, that the violation had ceased at least as of 7:15 a.m. today, but any further violations will constitute repeat violations, which under the ordinance would be subject to double fines.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll enter an order to that effect.
Thank you, sir.
Next case on the docket is Case B. It's number CE 17-001035. The respondents are Royce Gankos and Catherine Gankos. The property is 123 East High Street, Oviedo, Florida 32765. Parcel number is 15-21-521-0000-0080. The allegation is that allowing a pool to be in an unsanitary condition, the accumulation of debris, and pool enclosure is missing screens. Who's going to be speaking to that today?
I will, sir. Jim Orioles representing the city.
Anyone else going to be speaking to this case today? All right. Mr. Orioles, raise your right hand, please, sir. You solemnly affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Orioles.
Good morning again, Your Honor. Jim Orioles representing the city in case number CE 17-001035, 123 East High Street. Violations of 2219, 22 303.1 and 303.2. I have 23 pages of evidence for Your Honor, if I may approach the bench.
Yes, please. All right, not hearing any objection, those 22 pages will be admitted into evidence as the city's exhibit. All right, Mr. Orioles.
Yes, sir. The first document is the property appraiser sheet showing the property is owned, in fact, by Royce A. and Catherine Gankos. The second sheet is the copy of the violations, 2219 open storage, which is basically junk and debris, 303.1 swimming pool to be maintained in a clean and sanitary condition, and 303.2 swimming pool enclosures are to be in good repair. The next document, Your Honor, will see was pictures taken on 5/16 of the, and this is all from the rear. This property was never visible before the development on Oviedo Boulevard, when they made a large retention pond and cut an easement back there, and all of a sudden the back of this property became visible to various residents, although I'm sure the next door neighbors must have known about it beforehand. But you'll see the first picture, the pool is quite low in water, but what water is there is black. There's holes in the screens, there's vegetation growing through the screens, through the roof.
Let me ask you a question. On
Yes.
this photograph, I see a lot of vines, but is there any screen there?
Yes, sir, there's a screen there.
Okay, go ahead.
There's junk and debris, there's an old, I don't know, it looks like one of those little garbage can type sheds or something like that that's there in the back. On May the 17th, we sent a notice of violation with a corrective date of May the 27th. That was mailed, but it was never received. We went back on June the 1st, and we took more pictures, and as Your Honor will see, the 3 pictures, or 4 pictures, are exactly the same. Nothing was done to the house. On June the 2nd, we sent a second notice of violation. We sent it first class, we posted the property, and we posted City Hall as per 162. As an affidavit, the next paper is an affidavit of service attesting to such service. I did receive a call after that from Mr. Gankos, who had received the first-class letter and spoke to me and told me that he believed that at the time of this hearing, the house would be foreclosed already, and in the name of U.S. Bank. It is not. But his indication was that the property was going to be foreclosed, and he had no intention of doing anything to improve the
Do we know if
property.
there's a foreclosure action?
Yeah, there's a list pendant's been filed, but that's the only thing we can find in the public record. But he advised me he had no intention of trying to correct the problems, because as of that time, he felt it was not his property any longer. On 6/13, I went back out and took more pictures to show that nothing had been done to the property. We filled out an affidavit of violation and a request for hearing. We again sent it first class. We posted the property. We posted City Hall. And as an affidavit of service showing that requirement. We also did show that the notice was also sent certified, but it was not signed for. We have a certified mail receipt for that. And at approximately 7:12 this morning, the last 2 pictures, Your Honor, you can see that there's virtually the same condition. Nothing's been done to the property.
All right. Is the screen intact?
No, sir.
Is it such that a small child could get through it?
If it were not for the fact that there's so much overgrowth and a field fence that's somewhat downtrodden but about this high, I don't think a small child could get in there. If it weren't for that fact, yes, but there's so much overgrowth and so much debris and a trampled fence, I don't believe a small child could get in
That's
there.
all that's keeping someone from getting
Yeah,
in there.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Children are very enterprising.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm going to find that all notices required by ordinance and statute have been given. Did you get any feel from the property owner that until the bank forecloses and owns it, that they're responsible?
He understood that he was legally responsible, but also told me that he had no intention of doing any repairs.
Okay. And is there water in the pool?
Very little bit in the bottom of the pool, yes, sir, probably
How
2.
deep would you say the water is?
From what I could see, from where I could be, 2 to 2.5 feet deep.
2 to 3 feet deep?
Yes, sir.
And discolored?
Black.
Can you see the bottom?
No.
All right. Well, I'm going to find that the property owner is in violation of sections 22-45, 22-19 of this City of Oveda's Code of Ordinance, also in violation of section 303.1, 303.2 of the International Property Maintenance Code, which has been adopted by the City of Oveda by reference. In addition to that, I think that this property also constitutes a public nuisance. So I think the property owner is also in violation of Ordinance 22-144A and C5. There's stagnant water in the pool, apparently. My concern always in these swimming pool cases, and we seem to get a lot of them whenever a foreclosure is involved, is that some child is going to wander into those pools and drown. From my own personal experience as an attorney, I've been involved in cases where children have ended up with severe brain damage or death as a result of these types of situations. So I'm not too inclined to be very lenient. I'm going to enter an order giving the owners, take a look at my calendar here. Till July 7, 2017, to bring the property into compliance. If the property is not brought into compliance by that date, because this is an infraction of multiple ordinances, I'm going to impose a fine commencing on July 8 of $200 a day until the property is brought into compliance.
Your Honor?
Yes.
Excuse me if I may. July the 8th is a Saturday, sir, so we would not be able to inspect that until the following Monday.
Yes, you're correct. Let's give them until the 9th, and we'll start it on the 10th.
Thank you, Your Honor. I assume the city is not seeking administrative cost, and none are awarded then. Next is case C. Case number CE 17-001184. The property owners are Roy C. Jones, Jr. and Judith M. Jones, TRS FBO. The property is 201 West Mitchell Hammock Road, Oviedo, Florida, 32765. Parcel number is 15-21-300-0570-0000. The allegation, the city is allowing the accumulation of wrecked cars, RVs, car parts, and miscellaneous junk on the property. Who's going to be speaking to this today? I will, Your Honor. Jim Oriole is
All right.
representing the city.
Would everyone who's going to speak to this item today, please come forward. And first, Mr. Orioles, you're speaking on behalf of the city.
Yes, sir.
All right. Would you step to the microphone, sir? What is your name, sir?
Roy Jones, owner.
And that Jones Jr.?
Yeah, Roy C. Jones Jr.
All right, and ma'am, would you step to the microphone and give us your name?
My name is Natalia Jablońska.
You have to speak up, please.
We are
No, your name again, but loudly.
Natalia Jablońska,
You're going to have to spell that for us.
Natalia Jablonska.
J-A-D,
B like a boy,
J-A-B,
Lonska.
Jablonska.
Yes.
All right. Would all three of you please raise your step to the podium and raise your right hand? Do you all solemnly affirm that the testimony you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Each of you? All right. Mr. Oyles, we'll start with you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead, sir.
Your Honor, case number CE 17-001184, 201 Mitchell Hammock Road. Violations of codes 22.144, C129, 14, 15D, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I have 33 pages of evidence to give to Your Honor, if I may approach the bench.
Yes. Have you given copies to Mr. Jones and Mr. Blanca? All right.
Yes, sir. I've supplied copies of evidence, of all the evidence to Mr. Jones.
All right. Hearing no objection, I'm going to admit that into evidence as the city's Exhibit 1. All right. Go ahead.
The first document, Your Honor, is the property appraiser sheet showing that the property is in fact owned by Roy C. Jones Jr. and Judith M. TRS FBO. The second document, Your Honor, is 22...
I have a quick question. How is the property zoned?
The property is on commercial C2, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
The next page, Your Honor, is the violations that the city alleges. It's quite lengthy, but it boils down to junk and debris that we believe is a hazard, a nuisance to the surrounding area. The third document is the local business tax receipt for the business that shows that it is a repair shop and an automobile sales. The next documents, Your Honor, I know that Your Honor is familiar with the Whispering Wood subdivision. When the corner, the Harley-Davidson shop, the old Dunkin' Donuts, and all, when that property was cleared, that exposed the back end of this property, which was never known to anyone but probably the business owner of what was there. No one ever saw it, and all of a sudden, the pictures Your Honor is going to see just appeared. The first pictures were taken on May the 24th, and you can see the old RV, the old crushed RV there. The various junk cars that are stored on the lot. I don't know approximately.
This photograph was taken from which direction?
From Clontz Drive.
From the what side?
From Clontz.
Okay.
It was taken facing south.
Okay.
In other words, that's the view basically you get as you come out of the Whispering Wood subdivision.
All right.
And there's a third picture showing basically the same thing. We posted a notice violation on May the 24th, and it was signed for by Mr. Jones. He also came in and had a meeting with us along with the owner of the business, and we explained to them what they would need to do to get the business into compliance, and that was that they needed to remove all the junk vehicles, all the junk within the 10-day period. And they advised that they would work on that. They made no promises, however, said they would work on it. On the inspection on June the 12th, the next pictures Your Honor has, you can see that the property owner put up a fence, a professionally done fence, a very well done fence.
And who put that up?
A contractor, I believe. I don't know who. I really don't know who.
But it was done by the owner.
It was done by the property owner. Yes, sir.
It wasn't done by the new development.
No, sir.
Okay.
However, the difference in elevation between Clontz Street and the property, you can still see the various cars in all of the pictures that are still there. Now, in fairness, I believe that some of the cars have been removed. I know that that old crushed RV is gone, but there are still plenty of cars on the property. as of 6/12. Each picture, Your Honor, can see they were taken about 7 o'clock in the morning, and there's also the high growth around all the cars that is a concern to the city.
Okay.
After the inspection, Your Honor, we filled out an affidavit of violation request for hearing and a notice of hearing, mailed them to Mr. Jones, and they were signed for by Mr. Jones. This morning, I went back out to the property at 7:06, and as Your Honor can see, there are still plenty of cars there. The fence is still up, but does not hide the cars, nor does it meet the requirement that the cars are removed. There's also, in the last picture, Your Honor can see alongside of that large yellow or orange container, there's piles of tires and various parts, and parts pretty much all over the property.
Okay, a couple of questions for you.
Yes, sir?
Is the property occupied by a tenant?
Yes, sir.
At the situation?
Yes, sir.
And I see apparently from the local business tax receipt that the tenant is Florida Auto Sales and Leasing.
Yes, sir. We're not seeking any zoning issues at this time. I know that Development Review is looking at some of the zoning matters. The only thing that we're really concerned with at this hearing, Your Honor, is the debris and the nuisance under 22-144. The business is allowed to be there, however, there's not allowed to be outdoor storage and the like.
Right. Under the ordinances, is it the city's position that they could conduct Florida Auto Sales and Leasing there, but the problem is the high growth and the wrecked cars?
Correct, sir.
Is that essentially
Correct, sir. Yes,
the
sir.
problem?
Yes, sir.
Because I would have to say that most of the photographs I saw, those cars don't look like that they've been leased lately or sold lately.
No, sir.
All right, anything else you have to add?
No, sir.
I am going to find that all notices have been given according to statute.
Yes, sir.
All right. Who'd like to speak on behalf of the respondents? Mr. Jones.
The tenant, Natalia, has been working, and we moved 28 cars, and there's left 15 or so that would be the 9 non-compliant. I mentioned there is a...
Turn the microphone up a little, sir. So we keep a record of all these hearings, so if we don't speak into the microphone, we're not going to be heard.
Yeah, well, I can't follow. I'm very hard of hearing.
Me too.
I noticed that. Anyway, we've been trying to clean it up. We've been working on it. They did get the RV out, and they are licensed for auto repair. It's been a garage for years, and so we have not gotten rid of the non-compliant cars. We moved 28 of them, and we still got 15 to go. They have doing some cleaning with the various parts around. I noticed the tires. We need to get rid of those. And we're hoping that we can extend time so that we can keep working on this and get it cleaned up and come into compliance.
How long do you think that might take, Mr. Jones, to let me tell you what I perceive as compliance. I'm assuming that even though this could be used to sell and lease automobiles, the zoning, would it permit a junkyard? Okay.
Yeah.
Because right now, as a humble outsider looking at these photographs, it looks more like a junkyard than an auto repair, leasing, or sales.
I can agree with that to an extent, because of some of the cars there. They do get cars that maybe don't look too good, but they do repair them and then resell them. So, but that's where we're getting rid of the junk cars and then getting them to clean up parts that are laying around.
Yeah. What about the vegetation?
Yeah, and mow the vegetation. I will, I have been a little delinquent not keeping up with it. I go in and out. I don't look at the back where they get all these things stored. So now I'm going to be on top of this.
So how many days do you think it'll take to get it to where all the junk cars are removed, all the vegetation is mowed, and it begins looking like a place that repairs and sells automobiles?
Her father is together. They're the one of the tenants. Now he's in Poland right now. He's getting back in August. So I'll be working on them, trying to make sure they get daily activity. But it is a lengthy process because they've been there 8 years and they've built up a lot of things that we need to get rid of. So
Well, what I'm
more
looking
time
for-
the better. You know.
What I'm looking for is an estimate. I want to give you adequate time to clean up the property. We much prefer a clean property to a fine.
Yeah.
But at the end of the time that I give you, I will be expecting it to be in compliance, or I
Right.
will impose a fine. So give me a reasonable time to bring it into compliance. Yes, please step to the microphone. Speak directly into the mic, please.
Pick
Yes.
a time out.
My dad is right now in Europe, so basically I'm by myself there with my husband that he's helping me, and we were moving cars as much as we can. And the weather was not good for us because it was raining, poor raining all the time. We don't have retail customers. We are doing like a wholesale, so we are buying cars, fix them, and we sell at the auction. We don't lease cars. We never lease cars. A lot of cars that we are exporting to Europe, I have a lot of bill of ladings that we ship cars. And even the cars that are like junk cars, we use parts for our cars for fix. That's why we had and we have more of the junk cars. We are going to move them for sure. My dad's coming back in the middle of August. There's a chance we can have time till the end of August for that.
By when?
Until the end of August. He's coming back in the middle of August.
Okay. Well, another thing, you mentioned that you use the junk cars for parts.
For our cars. We don't sell parts.
Yeah, well, for your cars. But you understand that you're not going to be able to store those junk cars there anymore.
Okay, I understand that.
Okay, those are going to have to be removed.
Yes.
Because that becomes a junk car yard, which doesn't even comply with the zoning. City, you have any objection to me giving them till the end of August? Any objection to giving them until the end of August to come into compliance? Speak into the microphone, Ms. Torios.
Sir, I understand the complexity of the situation and how many cars are there. However, the amount of complaints that we get on an almost daily basis is the citizens are irate. It's not just a situation that, something that I drove by and happened to look at it and said, well, I better bring them before the magistrate. The citizens are irate about this. And I don't believe that the end of August is going to satisfy the citizens of Oviedo about this condition that's been allowed to exist there. I understand that it is a hardship. However, as Your Honor knows, the ordinances don't say anywhere in them if convenient or if affordable. It just says they can't be there. And I believe that the end of August is too long. I don't think the citizens would
Well, let's see, they've had until, when did you send out the first notice? May 24?
Yes, sir.
So this is, they've had 30 days already.
Yes, sir.
And they've moved 28 cars in 30 days. They have 15 cars to go.
Yes, sir, May 24th, that's correct.
Okay. All right. All right, thank you, Mr. Orioles. All right, Ms. Jablonska, anything else?
No.
All right, Mr. Jones, anything else? Anything else, sir?
No.
Okay. Well, I tend to agree with the city on this, that an additional 60 days seems a long time. That's 90 days. And if you've been able to remove 28 cars in 30 days, I don't see why it should take you an additional 60 to remove the remaining 15.
But that's only to remove the cars or to fix, to clean everything and do all the other stuff?
To remove them or fix them? Or
No, to just remove the junk cars that, it's fine for us to remove the junk cars in a shorter time, but to clean everything and set up everything like in a property, if there's anything else that we have to do, we just have to remove the junk cars or do something more.
Okay.
That's my
Well,
question.
what I'm going to do is give you until July 28, till July 28, to bring the property into compliance. And by that I mean all junk cars should be removed, all the vegetation should be mowed back, because as it is, it constitutes a nuisance. It harbors rats, vermin, snakes, in addition to being just downright unsightly. So by July 28th, the only vehicles that ought to be on there are those you're actually working on or selling. You no longer operate it as a spare parts from junk cars. So by July 28, I expect it to be in full compliance. If it is not, then commencing on, well, make that July 30. If not, then commencing July 31st, I will impose a fine of $200 a day for each day that thereafter that is not in compliance. Mr. Orioles.
Your Honor, if I might, to eliminate any misunderstanding, Your Honor did include all the miscellaneous junk parts, tires,
Oh, yes.
and
all
the like.
junk, parts, tires, anything. When it comes July 30th, it should look like what your business says it is, auto sales and leasing. Is repair permitted in C2?
Yes.
Yes, sir, with no body work, however.
Okay. And repair without body work and without junk cars.
Okay, what about the tires? Because we use tires to replace.
I'm sorry, you have to speak up.
What about the tires? Because with those tires that we have right now, we use, to replace old tires in our cars.
Your tires?
Yeah,
The tires should be just like any other repair shop. They should be, all you have to do is look across the corner to, Pep Boys? They store their tires inside.
No.
So they should not be stacked outside where weeds, rats, and water can accumulate in them. If you're going to sell tires, you're going to use tires, then they need to be indoors and stored in an orderly manner. Anything else on behalf of the city? I do find indeed that as of right now, there is a violation of the city's Code of Ordinances, Section 22-144, and that the property as it is presently constituted does constitute a public nuisance. But we're going to assume that by July 30th, that's all taken care of. Anything else you want to have? City seek any administrative cost, then none are awarded. All right, the next item on the agenda, we now get into part of the agenda dealing with compliance report cases. Case A, case CE 16-002340, J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, regarding 462 Timberwood Trail, Oviedo, Florida 32765, parcel ID 09-21-531-507-0000-0240. Who's going to be speaking to this item?
I will, Your Honor.
You're very busy today, Mr.
Yes, sir. You keep me busy.
Anyone going to be speaking on behalf of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank?
No, sir.
You raise your right hand, Mr. Oils. Do you solemnly affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, what do you have to offer, Mr. Oils?
I have 4 pages of evidence to give, Your Honor, if I may approach the bench.
Yes, please. All right. Well, not hearing objection, those 4 pages are going to be received in evidence.
This matter was heard, Your Honor, on February 23, 2017. At the time, the property ownership was U.S. Bank. A lawyer was present, represented the bank, and I'm sorry, J.P. Morgan Chase Bank. Your Honor granted an extension of time to comply with the order dated January 26th. The Respondent's motion for an extension of time is hereby granted. Respondent must comply with the order dated January 26, 2017, no later than midnight of May 31, 2017. Should Respondent fail to comply, a fine of $200 per day of noncompliance may be imposed. The problem we have, Your Honor, if you look at the property appraiser sheet, at the time we presented our case, the property appraiser sheet said that the owner was J.P. Morgan Chase Bank. The property appraiser sheet now says the owner is George Weinbill, who was the original owner of the property.
Who is the original owner?
George Weinbill.
Okay.
The clerk of the court certificate of title still says, from June 21st of 2016, says J.P. Morgan Chase Bank. The attorney was notified of the supplemental hearing. Your Honor notified him at the time of our last hearing. He, at the time, said that it was the bank's intention to put the property back in the name of Mr. Weinbill and then initiate foreclosure procedures. They have not filed any papers at all since the last hearing. The property is exactly the same condition it was, if not worse. The neighbors are having to continually, they've mowed themselves, and they're trying their best to keep the property up. However, at this point, it is our contention, I believe, that Mr. Weinbill owns the property again, and we will have to reissue the case, bring it back bring the owner before Your Honor in the July meeting, because J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, according to the property appraiser, no longer owns the property.
Well, the certificate of title signed June 21 says the bank still owns it, correct?
Correct. I talked to the legal advisor for the property appraiser yesterday, and she said that the ownership had been changed to George K. Weinbill.
Oh, it has been changed.
Has been
as
changed.
of yesterday.
No, sometime in May 13th, I believe.
Okay. Now, Mr. Weinbill owns it again.
Yes, sir. Our intention is to notice Mr. Weinbill, issue a notice of violation either today or tomorrow, give him 10 days to bring the property in compliance. If he does not, we will send a notice of hearing and bring him before Your Honor at the July meeting.
All right, we'll do that. I don't know that I need to issue an order to that effect. If you'll simply renotice it.
Yes, sir. No order will be necessary. We will renotice.
Okay. Do we know whether the foreclosure proceeding is still pending? I mean, I'm sort of worried that we'll notice Mr. Weinbull, and by then the bank will have it again.
I'm not 100% confident that won't happen. But in doing this for as many years as Mr. O'Rourke and I have done it, we really don't know of a way to short-circuit that process.
Yeah, well, I don't either. Okay. Right. Next is case B, case CE 17-000143. Respondents are Marion N. Solomon and Bassem Kamel. Property is 2210 Sterling Creek Parkway, Oviedo, Florida. Parcel number is 20-32-5-32-0000-84110. Who's going to be speaking on behalf of the city?
Your Honor, I will. Sean O'Rourke, Code Enforcement Manager for the City of Oviedo.
Anyone here going to be speaking on behalf of the property owners? All right. Mr. O'Rourke, would you raise your right hand, please, sir? Solemnly affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay? What do you have, Mr. O'Rourke?
Your Honor, this case is in regards to 2210 Sterling Creek Parkway. I am Sean O'Rourke, the Code Enforcement Manager for the city. Specifically, it was for violations of clearing, grading, removing vegetation without a permit, and then failure to submit a restoration plan. Your Honor, I have 16 pages, 24 pages of documents to enter into the record. 8 of them are the city's, and 16 of the pages are the respondents.
Okay. All right. I'm going to accept these 24 pages as, I guess, as a combined exhibit, 8 pages being of the city and 16 from the respondent. Go ahead, Mr. O'Rourke.
Thank you, Your Honor. The first documents you have from the city are the special magistrate finding of fact, conclusion of law and order from the hearing that took place on February 23rd. And, Your Honor, if you would look at the second page of that hearing, that order, number 1, the $500 fine was imposed. Number 2, we didn't seek administrative fees. Number 3, the resident was ordered to stop all clearing. He did that. Number 4, respondent within 24 hours to remove all pavers. He did that. Respondents. Number 5, respondents shall no later than May 20th, 2017 prepare and deliver to the City of Oviedo a plan to restore the above conservation and setback areas to their previous or better condition. Once that plan is approved, the city respondent shall cause, by the city, the respondent shall cause said plans to be implemented at their expense, and it refers to Section 15.5D of the Land Development Code. We did not receive a restoration plan by May 20th. We did receive a restoration plan at the end of last week. The plan was accepted by the Development Services Director, And the 18-page, or the 16 pages that you have, Your Honor, is a letter from the respondent requesting that the hearing be rescheduled, but I was directed to provide you with the restoration plan that was submitted to the city. So those are the 16 pages you have from the respondent, the restoration plan and his letter requesting that the meeting be rescheduled.
So you received the restoration plan when?
I believe it was Friday of last week.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
So on the next document that you have is the certified mail receipt and then the green card for this hearing today. And you have the notice of hearing that was sent on June 22nd, or that required his presence here on June 22nd.
Well, I'm going to find that all necessary notices have been complied with.
Thank you, Your Honor. And then you have, again, his request for a continuance and the submittal. I will tell you that the restoration plan will, that his submittal will be the city will need to send it to an environmental consultant for their review. There's no one on staff that is qualified to do an environmental study and review of the removal and the suggested restoration plan. So that'll be initiated this next week, and then we'll see what the consultant has to say as to whether it's adequate or not adequate. And of course, Mr. Kamel is requesting that he be allowed to come back next month.
All right. Do we know who prepared the restoration plans?
Mr. Kamel himself.
It's not much of a plan. It sort of recommends they let it grow back.
Yes, sir.
What's the city's position on this right now? Are you saying that you need further review?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, I'm going to issue an order continuing this matter until our next meeting. When will that be?
July 27th?
Well, I'll take a quick look here myself. July 27th.
Yes.
Do you think by then the city will have had a chance to have someone take a look at it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
we'll
I'm going to
initiate
continue
that
this
today.
until July 27 for input and recommendation from the city. And we'll renotice it for that time. Please make sure that the property owners get notice.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully they won't beg off again. And fact, in my order, I'll give them a little incentive. I think that they need to understand that we're not playing games here. I could have chosen to fine them $5,000 at the last hearing if I had found that the situation was irreparable. I did not do that. I gave them a chance to show us that it could be repaired. Frankly, I think they're playing games. So I'll let them know in the order that further fines may be imposed. Maybe that'll get their attention.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Right. Unless there's some other item to come before the Code Enforcement Special Magistrate, any items to come before Code Enforcement, then we'll adjourn that portion of the proceeding, take about a 5-minute break, and then we move into the administrative portion.